Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my second mock draft for the channel. Today, we are bringing you a little bit of a different feel for the mock draft. As you can see, we are using a different website for this mock draft. This mock draft will be used thanks to the power of the NFL mock draft database, and I really like this website because you can use trades in this mock draft machine without having to pay, unlike say something like the Draft Network or other websites where you have to pay for this feature. I also do kind of like their draft board too, and I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. But today we are going to be doing our mock draft Monday, and we're going to see how the board can either fall differently for the Ravens or how it can stay the same. Last time I was pretty disappointed with how the board fell, but that's also a very real possibility that could happen to the Ravens in real life. So with all that being said, we of course need to lay some ground rules. These are the settings I am going to be going over. Pick speed fast, draft realistic, obviously, and then the type of trading you can do: strict, relaxed, or free for all. Free for all is basically where anything will get accepted, and anything that you can do all sorts of crazy trades. We're gonna see if we can keep the trades to a craziness down to a minimum. We'll try to be as realistic as possible. But with all that being said, let's start this mock draft. And let's see if the Ravens in this mock draft will trade up for a player, or will they trade down to acquire more picks than they already have. With all that being said, let's begin. Okay, so we are sitting here at number 7. I paused the draft basically to give an update where the board is falling. We have a lot of value on the board to the Ravens, but this is around the range where players could be falling. We have Evan Neal Ekwonu, Ikem Ekwonu, Jermaine Johnson, and Derek Stingley, all on the board for the Giants. This is around the range where players start to fall and players start falling. So we're going to continue the mock. Alright, so I paused it at 12, and I smell a trade up coming. I want to jump one team to get a potential impact edge rusher. We are going to be making a trade with the Minnesota Vikings up 2 spots to go get a very special edge rusher that I think is going to fit the Ravens very well. If you saw the board, you know who I'm going after. So let's see if we can get a trade going to Minnesota. It will be number 12 for number 14. And we're going to throw in a 4th round pick, number 110, and 128 to sweeten the deal. And we are also going to throw in a potential 3rd round pick in next year's draft, and for the 2023 draft, to move up 2 spots to land the edge rusher that I am choosing. And we are going to be selecting Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher out of Florida State. Johnson really just fits the mold for a Ravens edge rusher. You think about Ravens edge rushers in the past. They're big, they're athletic, and they set a hard edge. This has been their mold of liking that they like to take. Obviously, Terrell Suggs, in the past we've had it, but other edge rushers that have come through the Ravens like Pernell McPhee, Zadarius Smith, Matt Judon, and others have had big, they've had length, they are great run stoppers. He fits the mold of a Ravens edge rusher, and to me, this is a big time need. They have no real edge rushers outside of Odafe Owe. Bowser, we don't know how much time he's going to miss. Jalen Ferguson and Dalen Hayes do not give me confidence on roster right now. Yes, they could sign a veteran, but at this point, there aren't aren't a lot of good, solid veterans out there at this point. And this makes up for losing out on Zadarius Smith. All right, so we're paused here at number 26, just to give you an update on the board. Not a lot of Ravens here to go after. Not a lot of players I think the Ravens would really go after here. Yeah, I thought about potentially moving up for an offensive lineman. Zion Johnson is very, very intriguing to move up for. Actually, I think he'd be so good for the offensive line. But I'm going to let the board play out until we get to the second round. All right, so we are now here in the second pick of the second round. Here at number 34. We still have a lot of really good players on the board here. A lot of really good depth, some really good depth on the board here. But unfortunately, I don't see a real trade-up candidate at this point. A lot of the players that I would have targeted as trade-up candidates have already gone in the draft. As we can see, guys, I would have traded up for a corner, but Trent McDuffie, Andrew Booth, and the majority of the corners are gone. We do have Roger McQuarrie, Tariq Woolen here, but those guys aren't exactly players I would totally be okay trading up for. I'd much rather just wait. I would much rather just wait at this point. So we are not going to be trading up again. And we're going to see what the board looks like in a couple picks. All right, so we are here at number 45. As we see here, Travis Jones just went to the Cleveland Browns. Pretty tough pick for the Ravens. I love Travis Jones. I think he'd be a fantastic fit with the Ravens. But as we can see, the board hasn't particularly fell the Ravens' way. They really need to get either a tackle or an interior piece. And I really think Daniel Faalele could definitely be the pick here. But I'm going to be trading down a couple spots. I'll be trading down with the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to pick up some extra draft capital. We gave up two fourth round picks to trade up. And while we do have 2/3 in this scenario, I want to pick up an extra fourth, and moving down a couple spots will give me that. So where's Philly on here? So Philly, I want 51. You get 45, and I want. I'll take 124, and I think that'll be it. All right. So we are on the board now at 51. Unfortunately, it didn't work out perfectly because Daniel Faalele went to the Chicago Bears. Unfortunate, and people are probably not going to like it, but I think this is that trade down kind of had to happen. We traded up in the draft, but we do have some tackles available here to take. We have Rasheed Walker, we have Max Mitchell, we have Abe Lucas, Tyler Smith, who is more of a tackle guard hybrid player, not exactly pure tackle. Another tackle guard hybrid player in Darian Kinnard. We also have Nicholas Petit-Fier here. Not exactly players I would be comfortable taking in the second round. So I think I'm going to take Perrion Winfrey out of Oklahoma. He is explosive as anything. Yes, he struggles as a run defender, but I think he just fits. He brings an extra edge to the Ravens defensive line that I don't think it really has right now, as that pure explosive player on the inside that can rush the passer. And we are now up here at 76. So we've done a lot of work on the defense. We've given them an edge. We've given them a defensive lineman. We could be looking to get a corner. here, but I kind of like a lot of the corners late. Marcus Jones, Kobe Bryant, Josh Jobe. Just today we found out that Chris Westry has signed with the Carolina Panthers. But, it's just something we're going to have to get over, and we're going to have to move on. But I also don't think the corners on the board really fit the mold of a third-round pick. So this could be another trade-down spot, but I think I picked up more than enough. I basically picked up the value that I've had to give up to trade up to get Johnson, while also trading down. So I think this pick should definitely potentially be a tackle. Although they're not exactly. Tackles are starting to fly off the board. Tyler Smith already went. Jamari Sailor went. Dylan Parham went. They are starting to fall off the board here a little bit. But we are going to select. Who are we going to select here? We are going to select Rasheed Walker out of Penn State. I think he just gives them a floor as a tackle. And now we're here at pick 100. Really quick turnaround there in the third round. Pick 100. We have some decent players on the board. We could take an offensive weapon for Lamar Jackson. We could take an interior piece. Thayer Munford seems to be the best player available for that. Or the center, Alex Lindstrom, Luke Fortner, Marquise Hayes, Justin Schaefer, Donovan West. So we're going to take a corner here at 100. And we're going to take a little bit of... This might seem like a reach, but I'm telling you it's not. This is going to be Zion McCollum out of Sam Houston State. This seems like a big-time reach. I'm telling you it's not. McCollum has been an insanely fast riser over these last couple of days and weeks for me as I start to really dig into this NFL draft. I'm telling you what right now, McCollum is a really underrated player. He's tall, he's lengthy, he's got length, and they really need to get another corner. They have Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters, but they really need a lot of depth. They usually go into the season with 4 quality corners option. They have 2, and both of them are coming off injury. So they need to add another corner, and they just did that in the draft. So now we are here at 119. And what could we take with this pick? So we've gotten corner, tackle, edge, defensive lineman. Interior is continues to be a little bit of a need. But again, I don't really like the pieces right now. We've taken a tackle. Wide receiver, no. Tight end. I think they really need another pass-catching tight end. I would have loved Isaiah Likely at this point, but unfortunately he did get taken. So with this pick, we're going to take Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State, a really good pass-catching tight end. Excuse me. And we're going to continue this offensive draft with a running back here. And Dameon Pierce has never really been asked for the Florida Gators to be a pure starting running back. He's always been kind of asked to come in relief, almost like a relief pitcher in baseball terms. And Dameon Pierce kind of reminds me a little bit of Gus Edwards, honestly. I think he fits what the Ravens like to do. They need to take another... I honestly do think they need to take another running back, even though it's not particularly the biggest of needs, as I think a lot of Ravens fans would probably want another wide receiver. But at this point, we've gotten a tackle for Lamar and Rasheed Walker. I think we can get another interior piece later on. I think right now we need to get another piece for the offense in Dameon Pierce. It's just a relief right now for the running backs. I don't know what they don't really know what the status of J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are going to be come training camp, and they won't really know until that time. So Dameon Pierce gives them a little bit of relief in the running back room, and I think he's a very fine player. So we're going to be moving on. We're going to be moving on here. And we're going to be taking... Sorry about that. 139. Right here. So more and more depth is coming off the board at this point. We are now well into the 4th round. At this point, and I want to take an interior piece. I need a guard. I think Marquise Hayes really fits that mold as a really good run blocking guard with some solid play. Nothing really to comment on there. That's just really good depth. The Ravens need to start building out some depth here a little bit. We've covered most of the big needs, but obviously an athletic linebacker could totally be a need. I think next to Patrick Queen. The thing with this pick, I'm going to take Jesse Luketa. I think they were teammates. He was teammates with Odafe Owe. He seems to be a pretty good fit for what the Ravens like to do. So as we wait for the draft to finish up, as we wait, we're going to go through. We're going to save. And we're going to check, and now we're going to see the overall review of the mock draft today. So the mock draft started with a trade. The Ravens moving up 2 spots to jump the Houston Texans from potentially taking Jermaine Johnson. In doing so, we gave up 2 or 4th round picks and a 3rd round pick next year to come up to acquire Jermaine Johnson. He seemingly is a potential fit, a really nice fit and culture fit for the Ravens. Has never really been in trouble off the field. Transferred from Georgia because he could not get on the field. As we've seen with Georgia, it is very hard to get on the field for Georgia because they have so many good players that it's just really hard to shine. So Jermaine Johnson transferred to Florida State, where he definitely shined. Senior Bowl standout. Nothing really to dislike about that pick. I think Jermaine Johnson right now is one of the Ravens' dream scenarios here. I had to trade up to get him. Had to give up some draft picks to get him. But I think in the end, it worked out pretty well because of the second move that I did. I traded down from 45 to 51, picking up an extra 4th. Basically picking up an extra 4th, giving up, and of course in that trade we gave up pick number 128 and pick 110, and now we get back pick 124, and moving down 2 spots, and we eventually got the defensive lineman out of Oklahoma, Perion Winfrey, an absolute bowl of gas, flamethrower type of defensive lineman that can truly get after the quarterback. He's a change up to the Justin Madubuike and the Broderick Washingtons, as he's honestly not that good of a run defender. But with the Ravens having so many good run defenders on this defensive line, they need to get some juice on this line. I think Winfrey definitely brings it. And now I think the Ravens have a really good pass rushing tandem with Owe, with Johnson, with Winfrey, with Madubuike, with Michael Pierce also being here, and Broderick Washington potentially filling roles. And then you think about how Tyus Bowser is coming back soon this year. The Ravens have options. This is what this draft was about, giving the Ravens options. And now at pick 76, we did exactly that, giving the Ravens Rasheed Walker. Maybe he doesn't start on opening day. He did struggle a little bit for Penn State, but he's a Maryland native. He's a He's a pretty good run defender. He's not the most polished in terms of a pass protector, but he is a pure left tackle, which is what the Ravens need right now. They need to get depth for if Ronnie Stanley can't go this year, or if ever again. They need to get depth on this line. It hurt them last year. It will not hurt them again. I am determined to get this pick to not hurt the Ravens again. And then at pick 100, we took a corner in Zion McCollum, one of the more underrated players in this draft class. Tall, lanky, press corner. You might not know the name, but you will know the skill set, and you will know the name as the years go on. Pick 119, we picked up Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State as another pass-catching option at tight end for the Ravens. He adds a little bit of juice to this tight end room that I think really needs it. Mark Andrews is amazing, but the other tight ends don't really bring a lot of juice. Pick 124, which is of course the pick that got traded, that I acquired trading down with the Eagles, was Dameon Pierce, a running back out of Florida. A change of pace back. Obviously, the Ravens have injuries in the running back room, and they address it here with Dameon Pierce. Then we got Marquise Hayes to build depth on the offensive line as a pretty good run blocking guard or center, whichever one you really like. And then at pick 141, we have an athletic linebacker in Jesse Luketa out of Penn State. So that is going to do it, everybody. Again, this is my mock draft with trades. Overall, I thought it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun to add the trading element into it. Overall, I think I might like this a little bit better than my last draft, only because I think we get more impact on day one than I think we did in last drafts and last week's draft. So with all that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to the channel, and join me next week when we go through another mock draft Monday. And until then, thank you all so much, and take care.